Hello, hello. This is Ignacy Trzewiczek from Portal Games.
And Corey Thompson from lots of other stuff.
And this is Stephen Bonacore, the Podfather of Gaming. You are listening to Board Games Insider, episode 405, and we're recording this on January 27th, 2026. Board Games Insider, powered by Board Game Geek. Guys, the band is back together again. It's so good to see everybody. We have kind of almost another special episode. Last week we did the predictions episode, and there was controversy going on in that predictions
A
episode.
little controversy.
So we're gonna be addressing that controversy, number one, and we're gonna since Ignacy wasn't here, we're gonna allow him to predict on the stuff that we predicted, to say right or wrong to the stuff we predicted.
We
So we're
will
gonna go
address
through
it all because
We're
I
gonna
am
we're-
nothing if not magnanimous.
because and you're gonna say magnanimous a lot to me this episode.
That was once.
Ignacy, do you know what the word magnanimous means?
I have no freaking clue.
It means generous.
Very kind and generous.
Okay.
Yes.
Like me.
All right, so Ignacy, first, before we get into the insanity of prediction correcting and this and that, what's going on over at Portal Games?
Before we go to Portal Games, I want to upfront apologize, Jake, because we just have a new dog in our house, a little puppy, and he's making noises for the past hour. So I told him very kindly, magnetotus or whatever the word what was.
Magnanimously.
Yes, I told them to shut up, and he's quiet for the last 5 minutes. But if he starts yelling, Jake, I'm so sorry. It's always Ignacy, something happening. I'm sorry. As for what's happening at Portal Games, we are preparing for our first release of 2026. On February 12th, we will release a Neuroshima Hex Anniversary Edition, and we will release a Neuroshima Hex Wireman expansion. I just sent out this very Friday newsletter in which I said I was very, very angry that for the 20 years I need to do a sales pitch for Neuroshima Hex. People should already know it's an amazing game. They should already know this is a brilliant stuff, and they should just buy it. Just trust me. And I said in the newsletter, if the game is on the market for 20 years, it's probably a good game. Like I don't need to make a sales pitch.
And still selling after 20 years. That's
yes,
awesome.
Yes. And the fan base also insane. Every year, as you guys know, every year we release a new expansion. If the game is not good, there will be no fan base for the new expansion every single year. So without any more sales pitches, you guys should be curious about this mysterious game from Poland that sells for 20 years and is absolutely amazing. One of the best tactical games ever published in the market. So go to Portal Games website, go to shopportalgames.com. This is our website. And check out Neuroshima Hex. There is a rule book, there is a videos, there is photos, obviously all the jazz. Neuroshima Hex Anniversary Edition. Brilliant stuff. This is what's happening at Portal Games. The other thing is that as we are recording right now, Greg Polewka, CEO of Portal Games, is arriving. I think that he's already arriving to Nuremberg because Nuremberg Fair starts this week.
That's right.
And for the first time in years, I'm sitting at home recording podcast and not on my way to Nuremberg. So I hope my team will do great deals. We'll meet with our partners. We'll present our releases. We'll learn about our partner releases. So all this B2B business stuff is happening right now. And for the first time in years, I'm not there. There is a lot of questions why I'm not there. Because right now I should be on vacation. Planned romantic week with my wife in Italy. Many questions are happening. Why, Ignacy, you are not on your romantic week in Italy right now, but you are sitting with these two dudes recording podcast? The answer is, if you check the news, in Italy, Sicily, there was a storm this very weekend. Lots of things, very serious stuff. Not joking about it. Schools closed. Houses ruined, like serious stuff on this very weekend when I was about to land in Sicily. And I said, Mary, we are not going to our romantic weekend and the week in Italy because the storm is right now. So this is my story. Things are happening, as always with me.
Very good. Sorry to
Ow.
hear. Sorry to hear about your canceled romantic week away.
What
Sorry.
is more, just one more additional, 2 weeks before my appearance in Sicily, which didn't happen. 2 weeks before, the volcano got angry and activated after 37 years. It was silent for 37 years, and then I announced that I'm coming with my wife to romantic week, and the volcano said, "No, Ignacio, you're not coming."
That's great. Mount Etna erupted. Is that right? Is that
Yeah,
Mount Etna?
yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
It's
Wow.
pretty active. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the more active things around. So that's pretty great. Wow. So I'm sorry to hear about the canceled
Woo.
trip. So Corey, what's up with you?
Uh, it's been very boring here. I've been home in the Sacramento area doing almost nothing. I am taking advantage of our editor Jake's cooking skills. He made a homemade risotto from homemade shrimp stock, which
Oh,
I ate like crazy. And
nice.
I've rediscovered entire days of sitting around doing nothing, playing video games. I pulled out Diablo 4 again, and it has ruined my entire week. However, today, right after recording, I am driving to Vegas to visit friends in Vegas, to visit the Sphere, which interestingly, I've become friends with the team that does the technology for the Sphere for the LED screens inside, and they've invited me to a nice VIP visit. So I'm really looking forward to that. Upcoming, I'm heading to Seattle in March, so hopefully see a bunch of friends and play some games. And then it's going to be GAMA, and then LyraCon, which I've never been to, but I'm very excited about in Portugal. So a bit of a needed downtime amongst a bunch of travel, but soon it gets crazy again.
Wow, wow, and wow. So I just got back from New Orleans, and it was a wonderful gaming event in New Orleans. It's such an amazing city. Gamed like crazy, ate like crazy. The food there
Mm.
is incredible. Highlights of the gaming, played some epic, and when I say epic, like four. Yeah, I played 4 games of Quartermaster General World War II edition. This is
Very cool.
it is the best 6 player. People call it World War II, the party game. So you're reenacting World War II, but you want 6 players there because you take the 6 major powers, 3 axis, 3 allies, and you are just yelling at each other and screaming at each other as you play very, very simple warlike maneuvers. It is a war game, but it's more of an area control game, card driven area control. And it's just so much fun. So I played like 4 games of that. I won 3 of them. I was very excited. Um, and I played a new Rob Davio game. And I wish I could tell you about it. Will be announced in about
Awesome.
2 or 3 months. And I just shouldn't say any more because anything I say could break the trust in the NDA, implied NDA of this. But I loved it. So that's all I'm going to say for now. Take that with any way you'd like. I was supposed to fly yesterday from New Orleans to Atlanta for a 1 day event that my brother was throwing. It was a big party for celebrating something that had just happened great in his life and both of our lives. But Atlanta was part of that area that it got ice and snowmageddon. It was just like crazy amounts throughout even
So
the southern parts of the U.S. all the way up.
you're saying nature was against both you and Ignacy, but weather's been wonderful here. I've done something right.
Yeah, nature has really crushed my plans and even worse, Ignacy plans. I feel worse for Ignacy than for me. It was only a 1 day trip, but it's going to be rescheduled for later on, 2 months from now. I leave in 2 days now, so I got an extra day at home because now I leave in 2 days versus leaving like immediately the next day for the huge 30-day trip in Australia and New Zealand. Blood on the Clock Tower cruise and
Wow.
BGG at sea, which there'll be many highlights. And for those out there, I like to document my vacations like on Facebook by telling what like I've done every day and stuff like that. I won't do it every day on
Yeah.
this, but I'll do it a lot and you'll see the great pictures and stuff like that. So if you want to follow me on Facebook, you'll get to see like where I am. And one of the big highlights, of course, is going to Hobbiton, the Hobbiton movie set from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit that they've maintained, and we have a behind the scenes tour of it. And also, really excited about doing that. Which reminds me, I got to take my the One Ring. I have an actual, the One Ring that I bought someplace, so I got to take that with me to put it on or something while I'm over there. So after that, it's going to be GAMA almost immediately. I'll see Corey there, and there's going to be a lot of time between now and then. Let's now immediately go to a special section. I don't know if Jake can put any kind of music fanfare or anything around it, but a special section just for this episode. It's an addendum to predictions 2025 and 2026. All right. So the first thing about 2025 predictions, there was some controversy. Reminder that we did this last week, and it's our best and maybe funnest episode of the year. And we determined that there was a tie between Corey and I. Ignacy didn't make the episode. It determined it was a tie on who was the best predictor for 2025. And the score was an amazing 0-0. By the way, we had reported the score wrong. I reported the score wrong. I was keeping it as a running score, but it really was a tie, and it was 0-0 after I just checked everything. Tie. However, we asked you, our loyal listeners and viewers, in the guild on Board Game Geek, which is our epicenter for all of you to interact with us, to see if Corey's prediction was actually right or wrong. And I said to Corey before that for the sake of harmony on the show, that I would give it to him. And that made it a tie. If I said just, all right, fine, you're right, and I gave it to him. So what was I, Corey? What was I?
I had said that I would accept either way because I am quite the magnanimous person.
No. Who's magnanimous? I'm magnanimous.
You
All
are
right.
by far the most humble, for sure.
Okay, so this is what the prediction was, and then we'll talk about what the fans said, if it was right or wrong. Corey, you said that we will see 2 or more video game-like board games in 2025. And video games often have no loss condition, minimal rules, involved tutorials. We'll see 2 board games that have these characteristics. And you pointed specifically to these. Aridia, The Paths We Dare Tread, Vantage, and Magic Maze Tower, which technically says it appeared in 2024, but we'll assume it was a 2025 release. Corey,
Really? The newest Magic Maze was okay.
It said that. I'm going, again, magnanimously, I'm going to allow you to keep this as part of this prediction. So, Corey, what did the fans say in the guild about your prediction?
I actually tallied all of the fan predictions, and my count was it was 8 said I was right and 8 said I was wrong. Now, there were a lot of waffle points. There were a lot of people who argued pieces of it, one of the games, something like that, but didn't take a stance. And there was actually one person who wrote in twice.
And
So
we did
taking,
not include him, right? We did not include
but
the second one.
I got a tie, 8-8.
Yeah, I actually counted myself, and I counted 9-8, even removing that guy. So some waffle point. But you know what? Magnanimously, again, we'll say it was a tie, and the entire predictions 2025 becomes a tie. First time in show history a tie in predictions. So, so everybody out there, you have to wait to 2026 to see who is going to be the best predictor once again for this coming year. Now, since we have Ignacy
I
here,
have a question. I
yes,
have a question.
please, please,
So I'm understanding it clearly.
clearly.
Both of you had all predictions wrong.
No, we had predictions right. We had predictions wrong. If you remember the way it gets scored, if when somebody predicts something and and that prediction is correct, if you agree with it, +1. If you disagree with it, -1. So there's
And
very
that's why you
big
have
swings.
0-0.
And that's
Okay.
why it was 0-0. You can get negative scoring. In fact, Ignacy, I'll remind you that you have scored negatively. You have scored negative in the past. I just want to remind you that. Okay.
Very magnanimous.
Magnanimously remind you of this. Okay. Let me read the predictions and I will record your agreement or disagreement with each one of these that we predicted from last week for 2026, right? This is for this coming year, Ignacy. I predicted that Asmodee will make at least one blockbuster company acquisition in 2026. At least one or more. What would you? Corey agreed. I'm going to, I'll tell you because you would have seen that. Corey agreed. What do you think? Will they make at least one?
I agree. Asmodee announced that they are in the next stage of acquisition. They have planned a couple of acquisitions.
Okay.
So it will happen, and then we will just, of course, we will have to decide in our opinions if this is a blockbuster acquisition. But
yes, we will.
I guess if we are waiting for a couple of years because they were changing the company buys, etc., it will be something big. I agree with you.
All right. Corey predicted for his first one of the major crowdfunding platforms, Kickstarter, GameFound, or BackerKit, will be acquired in 2026. Agree or disagree?
That is very interesting prediction. I will disagree, but this is very tempting. This is very, very tempting because this is very tempting. GameFound just this year acquired
Indiegogo, yeah.
Yes. So
we'll see. All right.
I will disagree, but this is very interesting concept.
And by the way, I disagreed as well. So I'm going through this to make sure that you hear it in the order we would have done it last week. So I also disagreed. I think that BackerKit would be the only one that would have a chance of that being acquired, but I don't think that they will be. All right. Corey, for number 2, Corey said an established company, not within the hobby board game space, will release an unexpected, critically or popularly acclaimed hobby board game title. So we kind of pointed out
like Mechs versus Minions.
Mechs versus Minions as an example of something like this, right? They were not in the hobby board game space. They've released this critically acclaimed board game. Ignacy, do you agree or disagree with that?
I agree. This is very, very interesting prediction. Last year we saw speaking about the Mechs versus Minions, we had CCG from League of Legends released. This is the company that is not making board games, but they released the CCG. I think that as we are speaking right now, there is a crowdfunding campaign for the Cyberpunk CCG. Once again, CD Projekt Red is not in board games, but they are playing with that. So this is interesting prediction, and this is possible. Our industry is growing, and these big companies may see here a loss of value.
All right. Steven's second prediction was 2 companies in the hobby game industry will announce a merger in 2026 in the same vein as Stronghold Games and Indie Boards and Cards announced way back in 2018 at this point. We haven't really heard about any merges, but I'm saying 2 companies will merge. Could be more. Other companies do it too, but I'm saying that 2 companies will merge. Say it's a merger in 2026.
I will disagree just for the sake of disagreement. Just to disagree. Like I have no clue. There's so many companies in the industry,
Yeah.
small and medium size, big and small. So of course, statistically, it may happen, but just for the sake of disagreement, I will disagree.
Also,
All
it's
right.
fun to disagree with Steven.
Absolutely.
Third prediction. And by the way, I'm skipping over yours, of course, and Corey and I have already agreed or disagreed with the ones you gave us. The third one is the funny prediction. We always have one final question, a funny prediction. I predicted that Stephen Bonacore will actually admit that he is not retired, or he is, or someone's, he is your or someone's financial advisor, or he will take another board of directors seat for a hobby game related company. So this is both funny and serious. Obviously, I have nothing in the no one has come to me as of the 27th of January yet. So in the next 11 months, will I take another board of directors seat for a hobby game related company, or will I admit that I'm not retired, or will I tell somebody that I am their financial advisor?
I I think that you love these seats at various boards. So I think this is possible that if somebody
Yeah.
contacts you, you will say, "Yeah, I'm in." Like I mean, no
It's
questions asked.
base,
Take me the seat.
basically, that's what Corey said. He said, you can't hide for that long. And he agreed too. And I mean, and obviously I'm not going to take or not take based on this stupid prediction. I'm not, if somebody, yeah, we'll see if it
Because
happens.
he's magnanimous.
Because I am magnanimous, and that might have been your fifth time. Thank you. Okay,
I count 8.
Corey's funny prediction: a gloriously. I can't even say this one. A gloriously charismatic and golden leader. Wait a minute, is this? Yes, this is. Yes, okay. A gloriously
Yes.
charismatic and golden leader will rise up to throw off the tyranny of the Podfather.
Hasn't it happened already?
This means that somebody's going to claim to be the Podfather. I guess it's.
I saw
And
some photos
I
in the internet.
yeah, and I have a feeling that this is what. Well, that doesn't count because. All right, now we have to say what we're saying here. Mr. Thompson, Dr. Thompson, tried to overthrow me in my as a joke in the Podfather of Gaming group. Well, since you had insider information, Corey, this doesn't count. That doesn't count. So, do you think someone else is going to do this, Ignacy?
I think this is possible that people will think this is a fun and very interesting option to be the Podfather. So I say yes, somebody will follow Corey and finally try to overthrow you. I agree.
I have no insider info. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was a very funny post. And for everybody else to understand this, in the Podfather Gaming Facebook group, which you could become a member if you're not already, the Cobb Father, Dr. Corey Thompson, as you can see him wearing a certain shirt right now, started taking over the group for a while with some of his friends like Daryl Andrews.
I believe I have members very close to you.
It was really, really funny. And thank you for that. All right. Well, that now updates our predictions for this coming year, which is awesome. So we'll have this great predictions episode in early 2027, and we'll see who wins between the three of us. And Ignacy, make sure you make the show so we can do this all together. And now we get to the event deck. All right. So we've had to be sitting on this piece of news for a while. It was embargoed for quite some time. And it's now able to be released. And it's that Eric Martin of Board Game Geek, the news guy there. He's leaving BGG News, and he's starting his own website, Board Game Beat. Board Game Beat. And a little bit of the information here that Eric actually sent us for the embargo, and now we can report on it. Board Game Beat will cover game announcements, industry news, and conventions, while also having a weekly deep dive article, a monthly video, and assorted game-related nonsense. In short, Board Game Beat will be similar to what Eric has done for years on BGG News, but he will have more time for writing, and he plans on covering a wider range of game-related topics. Board Game Beat will I can't say it. Board Game Beat will also have member tiers for audio versions of articles, behind the scenes posts, and assorted goodies. There will be 3 ad spots on the site, very specifically focused on games, not random Facebook and Instagram and X stuff. There will be no visitor tracking on the site, so you don't have to worry about being tracked and things like that. And if you'd like to advertise, he'd let us know that if anybody out there who's a publisher or whatever would like to advertise, they can go to wericmartin.com/advertise. And of course, the actual site is that, and that wericmartin.com redirects. The actual site is boardgamebeat.com. So I'm very happy for Eric. He spent a lot of time on Board Game News. I'm happy that he's branching out. He is one of the true people who have a pulse on game releases in the industry.
Encyclopedic knowledge of new things within board games. He knows everything, and I don't know how he does it out of the little notebook that he writes in.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. I visited today. There was a number of articles, really interesting things. He's the guy to do it. So
Yeah.
congratulations.
And he's on his way to Germany right now to report from Nuremberg, because he's the guy who is flying to Europe to meet publishers, talk to them, see what's happening. So he's amazing.
Absolutely. Now we have a very interesting article here. Corey, I'm going to let you run with this. This is from Leader Games.
We had reported previously that Later Games had canceled an upcoming Kickstarter for the game Take, which was a Cole Wehrle and Kyle Ferrin art game. And now we have further information that Cole Wehrle and Kyle Ferrin, the artist from Later Games, have started their own company called Buried Giant Studios, and they are taking with them the board game Arcs. So this is fantastic. And Oath. My apologies. So something has happened within Leader Games. They still are saying that they have a friendly relationship, that Kyle will still do art for Leader Games when it's needed, and Cole will still support games that are within Leader Games, but there is now a new studio on the block, Buried Giant. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if the Kickstarter preview Take, which was taken down, ironically, we'll see if that appears with Buried Giant, and certainly we're going to see some new games showing up from them.
If I may add a little bit of information from my point of view, Portal Games Poland is proud publisher of Leather Games. So we are doing Polish edition of Root, Polish edition of Oath, Arcs, great games, and bestsellers in Poland, obviously. And I want to follow up from our perspective as a partner, the whole thing that is happening at Leather Games and Buried Giant Studios, super clean, friendly, professional. Like, we were reached by both sides. We were confirmed that our cooperation with them will work as it was. So we are still doing Root for Poland with Leather Games. We are still doing hopefully Oath and Arcs with Buried Giant Studios. So in terms of my perspective as a partner of these now 2 companies, everything was super smooth and professional and very, very well done.
And I just want to put for completeness, Buried Giant Games has been founded by Cole Wehrle, Kyle Ferrin, along with Drew Wehrle and the former director of operations, Ted Kaya.
Very, very interesting. Changes in how they're going to be doing their operations there.
We were predicting mergers, and we have anti-merge. Come on.
We have an anti-Murray. That's actually true.
I think that's negative two.
Very good. Very good. All right, what do we have here? We have Games Workshop news, a couple of pieces of information from Games Workshop, and it's as follows. Warhammer Maker Games Workshop bans its staff from using AI in its content or designs and says none of its senior managers are currently excited about the tech. So
Yeah,
let
this
me,
is from IGN, normally a video game channel, but it's interesting it's coming from there. I
yeah.
think that Ignacy put this one up.
Okay, Ignacy,
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
us about this.
I play miniature games, so I'm all about the WG news. Yeah, the statement is very short. Is on one hand very firm. They say we will not use AI. Our staff is not using AI, and our contractors, because they're mentioning also submitted work, will not be using AI. So this is very firm information. But then in the second paragraph is a very confusing statement that says we are allowing our few senior managers to continue to inquisitive about the technology. So they are saying we are not using AI, we will not use AI, but some of our people are learning about this technology,
They're
which is
AI
less firm.
curious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that is a very interesting, almost backpedal,
I,
but they're coming out very strongly
I
against it.
think the
They're
big
not using it.
issue is that if you just say AI, it's a confusing name because there's so many things out there that are considered AI, and you can't really say, I will never touch anything AI in my life because your cell phone, your
Yeah,
Photoshop, every piece of tool we've used has some form of AI in it. I think they're specifically referring to AI art.
right,
Yeah, yeah,
right.
I don't even want to provoke everyone, but I could say a statement and then I'll be cited by ICV2. Ignacy Jacek said every board game publisher uses AI because we use it in a Google Workspace, in a Gemini. Like there is so many tools right now that publisher is doing just running operations, running his company, and is all these companies are just shoveling AI tools to every tool that you are using. So when we are referring in this podcast to AI use, we are discussing illustrations or writing stories or like a creative AI. But for the office work, it's really hard to use Gmail these days or Google without AI tools.
Right, exactly. And just a quick little piece that to add to this is that also on ICV2 that Games Workshop was reported to have done very well for the year of 2025 with sales up 24% in the second half of the year. So they're really still killing it from a perspective of how well they're doing. What do we got
Absolutely.
next? What do we got next? We have some news out of Canada, and it's from one of the distributors in Canada. Why don't I pick this one up here? Grosnor buys a second warehouse, which is double it's the size of its first one. Now, Grosnor is a Canadian distributor that we don't talk about much. You know, we always have talked about the big five in the U.S. Well, there's the big two in Canada, and Grosnor was that third one, kind of small. But obviously, they're doing well because they've now just multiplied their warehouse space by a total of three, right? They doubled the current one. Canadian game merchant trading card distributor Grosnor Distributions has purchased a second warehouse twice the size of its existing facility. The company announced the new 100,000 square foot warehouse in Mississauga, Ontario adds capacity beyond Grosnor's current 50,000 square foot warehouse in Brampton, Ontario. So obviously, this is a good news for that area of Canada. They are, they're doing well, and they're increasing their distribution at least in the Ontario province. All right. Now we have great news, Ignacy. What you should be talking about GAMA, because you now are a big fan of GAMA after speaking with Nicole at what was it SN 2 years ago, I think it was, when you had the nice meeting
After
with.
speaking with Nicole and after seeing all the action Gamma is doing, like
Right.
their action, their facts, they are really doing stuff.
Very, very good. So on ICV2, Gamma's net declined sharply in 2024, though their revenues were near all-time highs. Gamma's net revenue is less expensive, so it's a profit, though it's a not-for-profit organization. For 2024 was down sharply from 2023, even as revenues remain near all-time highs, according to the Tabletop Game Trade Organization's IRS 990 filings, as provided to ICV2 and retrieved via publicly available records. In 2024, GAMA netted $18,000. That's it. Very small amount of profit on revenues of $1,403,000. After a gangbuster year in 2023, where the organization netted $409,000 on revenues of $1.493 million. So, interestingly, revenues very high, but they have had more expenses to
Yeah,
keep
it means
down
they're
their.
spending more.
They're spending more money. As simple as
So,
that on
and
expense. All right.
this makes sense because Gamma, I believe, has been doing more. So of course they're spending more and acting more like a nonprofit, that they are spending off most of their revenues.
Which is really what, right? Exactly. That's a really good point. As a nonprofit, you usually will throw all of your money back into doing things. In this case, doing things at the GAMA trade show, GAMA Expo, and doing things for Origins in any of their other outreach programs that they're part of. So good stuff over there. Playpunk is switching. What did it say there? From Asmodee to Hachette for
Playpunk,
UK distribution.
of course, is the new company from Antoine Bauza's group that put out Captain Flip and Zenith most recently. And it's really interesting that in the UK, they're switching from Asmodee UK to Hachette for distribution. So movement within Playpunk, which I think is still up and coming. They've been around for a little while, but I still see them as a new up and coming publisher.
Very, very good.
And
No, absolutely.
yeah, and Captain Flip's doing terrific. There's expansions announced, so they're a player.
Excellent, excellent. We have some news out of CMoN. So at cmon.com/, it was also covered on ICV2. And this is about their fulfillment of all of their outstanding crowdfunding campaigns, of which there are many. And on their website,
Yeah.
they listed like all of the outstanding ones, which is something around 6,
11.
8, 2, 3, 8, 11 outstanding campaigns, and given statuses. And they've, excuse me, they have determined, what that rollout is going to be to make whole all of the backers.
I
Corey,
like
why don't
that
you
this
take
is
it?
a high degree of transparency here.
Yeah.
CMoN obviously is in trouble. They financially were in trouble. They had issues with stock exchange forever. They've said that they're selling off lots and lots and lots of IPs. They already sold off Zombicide, all the Eric Lang games. So everybody's been wondering what is going to happen with these games that I've backed. And they've given an actual quarterly announcement of when things will release, what their estimated timeline is, and more importantly, confidence that they're going to finish these 11 campaigns that are hanging in the air. And real quick, these campaigns are Dune Desert War, Mordred, The Adventurers, Masters of the Universe, God of War board game, DC Superheroes United, Deceased, which is the DC Zombicide, Massive Darkness Dungeons of Shadowreach, Song of Ice and Fire Tactics, Super Fantasy Brawl Reborn, and The Dead Keep. So there is a sense of confidence with that. However, just yesterday, Board Game Wire reported that CMoN has said they are actively exploring more IP sales as it needs funding to actually fulfill this plan that they're doing. So there's no specifics in the Board Game Wire article other than a nice review of IPs they've already sold to other people, and a little bit of a list of what might be a potential IP sale, with Massive Darkness kind of hitting the top of that. So basically, CMoN has said, yes, they're still going to sell off more IPs to fund this plan that they are determined to go with.
That's a very
Yes, and
big Go ahead. I'm sorry,
Yes,
Ignacio.
and once again, it's from Polish publisher who is a partner for CMoN. I can confirm that what's there, at least the part that I'm involved is absolutely true. Here in Poland, we just released Cthulhu Dark Providence, finally delivered by CMoN, and we did it for Polish edition, and we are of course in a constant contact with CMoN for the Mordred, and Mordred is moving also very rapidly forward. So Mordred Polish edition and hopefully your English editions for you backers will be soon ready. So I confirm that they are slowly but every month moving forward. That is true.
Yeah, I'm the most interesting portion of this is that they're still selling IPs. So uh, and Corey, you mentioned the one that's probably the most likely or the biggest one that they could possibly sell, Massive Darkness. It will be
Massive
interesting.
Darkness Second, yes, Darkness Second is a huge game here in Poland, super popular.
Yep.
I guess the same in the States.
Yep.
It has lots of expansion, lots of fans. It's a great game. So yes, this is probably one of the biggest IPs still available.
Right. Exactly. What do we have next? We have people moving around the industry from Board Game Wire. Corey, did you put this one out there?
I did, and I affectionately refer to this as the migration of the Rosses.
The Rosses.
So, so uh, Board Game Wire every once in a while does a People on the Move, which is really interesting to see who is going where. So Ross Thompson, who for a long time now was director of marketing for Atomic Mass Games at Asmodee. And Atomic Mass was the new company formed to hold the miniatures games that Asmodee was putting, has left Asmodee. Right now, unclear where Ross Thompson is moving to, although he's a big player in the industry. He's very important in running board games for Comic-Con. He has a lot of fingers in a lot of things in the industry, so I'm sure he'll be going somewhere.
Absolutely.
Then Ross Connell, who has been with North Star Games for a quite a long time, is moving to Mantic Games, which is really interesting. I haven't heard too much from Mantic in a while. They're kind of in that zone between board game and miniature, doing a lot of in that way.
Yeah,
Uh,
they just released a huge release for them, Kings of War. This is a fourth edition, big release for them. So I don't know if he will be involved in miniature games, but for the mountain games, is a very important period right now.
And we should also mention Ilya Ushakov, who has been an influencer in the board game space for quite a long time, is leaving Incredible Dream as marketing director and is joining Druid City Games as director of marketing. So, congratulations to Ross's one and all, and to Ilya.
Very, very, very cool. This next article, I threw up here, and I think I threw it up here. At least, I saw this article, and I wanna address it. I really love this one. It really hits home for a lot of the smaller publishers. And this is it comes out of Board Game Wire, and Mike at Board Game Wire interviewed Luke Peterschmidt, who's the head of active category management at Asmodee. And one of those things that he does there, he's senior vice president, very, very big guy. He's a really great guy. And one of the most important things, one of the most important announcements that came out of last year from Asmodee is that they were partnering with Middle Earth Enterprises to run the category for Middle Earth Enterprises for board games. Excuse me. And that would sound at first that, well, that means Asmodee is going to get all the Middle Earth games. And that's exactly wrong. And the biggest quote that comes out of this is that quote, no part of the mission says Asmodee makes all the games. Luke Peterschmidt on shaping the future of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings tabletop titles. And I was very happy that this has gotten the coverage on Board Game Wire to really drive home that what they're doing there is that any publisher, small publishers to large publishers, can come now through this new department out at Asmodee to pitch a Tolkien-based game. They vet the game based on the price point, the exact topic within Tolkien, the how you want to create it. Do you want to do it on crowdfunding or not? They vet this whole thing, and then they schedule it if it makes sense for all of the other games coming out. And this prevents many, many, many Lord of the Rings games from being similar and being at the same price point. It's going to get a very diverse, okay, we get the smallest of the small and the biggest of the big all coming out over time. And they maintain the schedule and work with Middle Earth Enterprises. And I know for a fact that they're not giving all the games to Asmodee companies. So
I think they're actively working to show that it's not Asmodee, so I think there might even be a preferential the other way.
It might be. So I know for a fact that many companies outside of Asmodee have come to them and said, these are the games that we have that either immediately have a Lord of the Rings or Hobbit IP on them already, and we want to do these, or we have this great design and this great idea, and we can easily put a nice Lord of the Rings on this one. What do you think? And can we place this in the timeline of Tolkien-based releases? So kudos to Asmodee for being, again, so transparent about how it's going to happen. So that's really cool to me specifically. Well, that was a lot of news. And I think right now we do have another story here, but this is a biggie. So, I mean, big, complicated one about lawsuits and stuff like that. So we're going to go right now, going to go past strategy and tactics because this is, we've gone very long with the news. There was a lot of news backed up. And let's get over to playtesting. So, Corey, as usual, you do a great job with giving us new questions all the time. And you gave us a question from a couple of weeks ago. What was that question that we asked everybody about?
The question this week was, how do you feel about variants within a published game? Is it a plus to have multiple ways to play the game all within the same box? I personally am kind of annoyed with this trend. And I'll put that right out there, I want board game designers to design the game. I, as consumer, as the player, I don't want to do the design. I don't want to decide, I'm going to play this way, and then this rule, and then that rule, and then this rule. I want the game to just say, here's the game. I am totally fine with expansions. I am totally fine with a tutorial mode that leads into a real mode. But if there's 4 different games with the same component set that say, you could do this, or you could do this, or you could do this, that is just not my thing.
If I may, because I was not here the last time, I want to say that I agree with Corey 100%. A designer should know what he's designing, and he should put one game that he's designing, not 7 games in the box. So I agree with Corey, and I'm absolutely shocked and stunned that Corey and Ignace are wrong based on the feedback from our listeners.
I was going to quietly not mention that all of the listeners think we're wrong.
Yeah, well, and Bonacor, who's the smartest of the 3 here on this podcast, also thinks you're wrong. Now, because I don't think it's about the designer not finishing a design, as you're kind of implying. I think that they make the design. This is the way the design is. And he says, hey, I've also noticed these interesting things you can do in the game. Different setups, different tweaks to various powers, or whatever the case may be.
There's a couple lovely English phrases like fish or cut bait, just make a decision, things about getting off the pot.
Crap or get off the pot. Yes. But let's go to our listeners and viewers, and what did they say?
But why would we read the comments that are wrong and that are all wrong? It makes no
And
sense.
thank y'all. We're all done. We'll see you next week.
Wow, 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 wow. So I noticed that you both like to use our listeners' comments when they support your arguments, but not when they're against your arguments. I just want to point
Of
that out.
course, I'm a statistician.
Okay, that's right. Statistics don't lie, statisticians do. Anyway, our good friend Peter Woken says he loves them. Have the base game be the easiest and fastest to learn, and at the end of the rulebook, add an additional gameplay modes section for all the variants. Thank you, Peter. You're so smart. I've told you that many times when we've met. Anybody else want to pick a good answer?
Alex Tufano says, it's not usually something that draws me in, with the exception of a solo mode. I do really enjoy small modular expansions for games, but when they're a competitive and co-op and team mode and solo, it may even be a negative. See, that's a smart man.
Peter Haraldson from Sweden said yes, he likes them, but it needs to be a solid game to begin with. Yes, of course. Absolutely. That is part of my point. Ignacio,
Uh,
anything you want to bring up?
No, they are wrong. Every single person says they love. Like I was really browsing to all the comments, looking for the one comment that is right. There is no single comment.
Emil's I don't particularly care for variants in Basebox. I don't get
Yes.
to play the same game very often, so I don't want the extra decisions in setting up the game. Such a good point.
And
This
and what is
concludes.
the worst? What is worse in board gaming is when for these variants you have various components, and then you have no freaking clue which components you want to play the base game because you don't care for the variants. But then there are additional tokens or additional meeples, and you are confused, and then you just close down the box and put it on the shelf and never play again because you are confused. I
You
hate
know,
them.
just organize your game correctly and you write on the little baggies, this is for this and this is that's what I all my games are organized with, the
I
Sharpie.
can't tell you how many times I've agonized on a game trying to figure out what these cards do, only to find out later, oh, they're only for this mode.
Oh,
Um
this is the best. So this, oh no, no, this is I don't want then I will not name the name because I respect the publisher and designer. I don't want to be that Slavic. But there was one game that almost my head just, you know, blew up when I finished the whole setup, and then the last point of the setup was remove these 10 cards because they are from the expansion. After I shuffled and prepared everything, the last point of the setup was actually remove this part because it's from the variant. Like,
okay. Well, that's well, you're right. Don't
I
mention the
will not
publisher.
name the
That's
name. Yeah.
that's the publisher being dumb in that case. But sorry whoever that was. Bo Bo Bondi from Iceland says variants are a plus. But if you need a variant to play a game, two player, it's not a two plus player game, and that should be stated on the box. Well, that's kind of hard because you want
Yeah,
people to
that's a
be able
waffle
to
point.
you want people to be able to play a two player, and you need to change. It's just the way games balance. You need sometimes to change the game in some specific ways to make it for two versus three, four, five, etc. So um, uh, variants are a plus. We're going to go with that part of your statement, Bo Bondi. So, all right, go ahead, Corey, if you have something.
Oh, Timo Boredom says, like everything in life, it depends. For a lot of smaller games with specific rules for a two-player variant with a dummy player, we skip this altogether and just play the normal way. Certain expansions could be seen as a different variant of a game, in my opinion, which I am less opposed to being played. Uh, Too long didn't read. Two-player variants with dummy players suck. Other variants are welcome. Thank you.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's move on to what is the question for this week that, of course, Corey came up with. Corey, tell us what you would like our listeners to answer this week.
I really debated about putting this question up there. I think this is going to cause some anger.
It's going to cause some
Uh,
anger, but this is an angry podcast with a Slavic guy over here and you always being wrong about predictions. Go ahead.
Good. Okay. Okay. Is chess a good game, or has it just been played forever? It's a question of familiarity versus good. Is Monopoly a good game, or is it just the game that society knows? Again, is it just been played forever? So it's
So
really, I don't know.
I I know. Do you want me to just give you the right answer that our audience will then uphold for next week? Chess, is chess a
Yes.
good game or has it just been played forever? It's not a modern board game. It is an interesting abstract, and it's really, when played at the highest levels, it's simply a memory game. Sadly, I mean, well, I shouldn't say it's so much like that, but it's
Pattern
a memory.
recognition,
If
pattern
you
recognition.
if you can memorize the 50 greatest openings or something like that in chess history, you're going to be really, really, really good at
The
chess.
problem, though, is it's mathematically impossible to memorize all of the chess moves. If you look at a single chess game, the number of possible moves
Oh,
is
it's
much, much larger than the number of atoms in the
yeah.
universe. So every game that's played is unique. You do not have repeated games. So you
Right,
look for patterns, you
right,
look for openings, you look for
right.
endings, you look for
So
mid-game patterns.
So overall, I'm saying no. Chess is not particularly a good game. It's about memorization and things like that. Is Monopoly a good game, or is it just the game that society knows? And I'm going to say it's not a good game, but it does provide us with the fact that we now have a common language. We all understand it. At least we understand the way a lot of people play it, which is wrong. But it's
Well,
not
that's my
really a good
point.
game.
As written, if you play Monopoly by the rules as written in the game, it's not a bad game.
It's not a good game either, though. Ignacy, you want to get involved with any of this? Are they good or bad?
I think that this question is a provocation to me being more Slavic.
Oh, I knew that.
And then I
Are,
like the
To be,
are
I
potatoes
haven't.
a good food, or have we just eaten them forever?
Yeah. As for chess, I haven't played chess as an adult. I played as a kid. Obviously, I know the rules, but I have not played it as an adult, so I cannot
Oh,
say
really?
if this is a good game. No, I'm not playing chess. And as for the Monopoly, I played it as an adult. I played it like recently, like 10 years ago, as being a game designer, and Monopoly sucks.
And name, Corey, you also asked name some games that you believe are good games, ones that can actually compare well and hold up to modern hobby games from, say, prior to 1940. And I'm going to say none. I'm going to say, okay. Oh, no, I did come up with one. Like a game like Pit. Pit is a good game, and that was designed and that was published somewhere in the early part of the 20th century, 1920 or something like that. So that's one. I mean, it's not like an ultra great game, but it's quick.
Pete is 1903.
Yeah,
Good catch.
yeah. So that's the one game that came to mind prior to 1904 that I'd say, sure, I would play that right now and have
There's
fun.
a
And
lot of classic card games that I think are still hold up, and
I don't
they date prior,
do. I
like
mean,
Bridge,
oh, does Bridge date back that far? Okay.
1935, I
I'm
believe.
not a Bridge player. I see the appeal of Bridge, but okay. There you go. There's another good one. But it's also like just using a standard deck. So that's not mm, all those games. It could have been poker. I mean, poker's a great game, and poker goes back to the
I
1800s. I'm pretty
do
sure.
not think poker's a good game.
Oh, poker's a phenomenal game. It's a 10 rated phenomenal game. There's so many great aspects of that. So any Slavic comments, Ignacy? Come on, give me one Slavic comment that we
No,
can have fun with.
I'm pretty embarrassed that I have not actually played the real Mahjong. I have not played the real Mancala. I have not played the real backgammon. So of all the ancient games that are very tempting and hopefully are amazing, I have not played because I played other games. So I don't have anything to add here, and I'm embarrassed.
I think backgammon's amazing. I really like backgammon.
Backgammon's a good game, very good. Yeah, I do enjoy this. So there's another one really. Very luck dependent, but who cares? I mean, that's just the way it works.
I think cribbage is amazing.
There you go. Cribbage, that's right. Cribbage goes back to the early part of the 20th century, right? Yeah. Okay, so
1630.
1630. Oh my God, I did not know it was that old. Wow. Look at that. We've got a bunch. Not so bad.
Designed by Sir John Suckling.
Okay, why not? Why not? All right. So right now we have to toss this over to our audience right now. Ignacy, if he remembers how to do this, he's going to capture this entire question, which I've actually added to. I actually added a little bit. I said, "Oh, this is going to be a controversial question." I put that in there. He's going to put that up on our guild, and we'd love for you to answer it, and maybe we'll take your answers. Please be kind and polite to each other as you yell at each other about whether these games are good or not, or what makes a good game.
There is a situation.
A situation. What is that?
For all listeners don't know it, but my fellow podcasters know. I'm using my daughter laptop because my laptop is dead. I don't have my logins on my daughter laptop, so I cannot post this thread. I'm so sorry.
So Corey, are you capable of doing this? Do you know how to
No,
post?
incapable. I don't know how to do computer things.
One of us will post this thread as
Yes.
playtesting 405. By the way, playtesting number 405. And please come to the guild and answer it. Ignacy, we're going to send you a laptop. We're going to put all your credentials on it so that you have it there all the time. I love your new headset, by the way, people who are watching.
It is not mine. This is my daughter.
And it's his daughter's headset. All right. Now, let's get over to the final scoring. Thank you so much for listening, and help us spread the word about this podcast by telling your friends to download Board Games Insider wherever they like to get their podcasts, or watch Board Games Insider on the Podfather of Gaming YouTube channel. And if you want to be part of this podcast, you can go over to the guild, become a member if you're not, ask us questions for our strategy and tactics segment, which will be back next week, or answer our questions to you from our playtesting segment, and post them in the correct guild, the correct forum in the guild, and we'll be talking directly to us, and including directly to us on social media. So pick the social media that you like: Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, YouTube. And our handles there are all the same. It's Board Games Insider, Portal Games US, Podfather Gaming, Dice Tower Dish, Play2Z Games, and Above Board TV. We'd really love to see you in person at an upcoming convention. Please come and hang out. Talk to us. Find us. Tap us on the shoulder. Let's have a conversation. Let's go get a meal or drink. And the next one that you might see us at, well, it's the industry people, is going to be GAMA. Corey and I will be at the GAMA Expo together. If you happen to be on the Blood on the Clock Tower cruise, or at BGG at Sea out of Sydney going to New Zealand, please let's game together. That will be awesome, and hang out, and we'll sing some songs in the piano bar and things like that. I love cruising, and I love doing it with all of the gamers out there. Board Games Insider was professionally edited by Jake Thompson. Thank you, Jake, for being part of the team. And the great voice you hear doing the intro, the outro, the in-between segments is that of Ray Greenlee, and he can be contacted to do your voiceover work at raygreenleevoiceover.com. That brings us to the end of another wonderful episode, gentlemen. Do you have anything to add to this before we say
I'd like to report that this new word that I learned today is very complicated, and actually I have not learned it because magna something is very complicated word. So I'm sorry, our podcast is entertaining and educational, but not for me.
Magnanimous.
We have
Magnanimous. It sounds like a spell. It's like a spell from Dungeons and Dragons.
It's a from Harry Potter, Patronus something or other. Magnanimous. It's almost as hard as Chevy check for an English speaker. I just want to point that out.
Okay, so we have a tie.
We have a tie. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye now.
Take care.
See you later, everybody.